iHeartRadio, The Man in the Arena, the LifeVac radio show, where we explore incredible stories of courage, resilience, and life-saving moments. Here's your hosts, founder, inventor, and CEO of LifeVac, Arthur Lee, and LifeVac advocate and president of sales, Rick Fatscher.
Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to The Man in the Arena, brought to you by, of course, LifeVac, the airway clearance device that has now saved, nearing 4,000 lives. In 40 countries. Welcome, Finland. Welcome, Finland, to the action. So if you don't have one already, or someone you love needs a LifeVac, go to lifevac.net, get the original authentic LifeVac, use code MITA. That stands for what, Pat?
Man in the arena, or woman, but man in the arena.
Yes. Man or woman in the arena, but MITA for the discount on protecting those you love. There it is. And we are blessed tonight. We're talking about veterans tonight. We always, salute our veterans, but Mr. Jack Nelson from Tunnel for Towers, welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir. Great to be here.
Yeah, now all things usually come through Massapequa, but you're not very far away in Long Beach, New York.
Not at all. Long Beach, born and bred in Suffolk County, but Long Beach now, and
nice.
They'll bury me in the backyard.
So, oh no!
If there's room, there's not a lot of room in Long Beach.
South Shore.
Good point.
Nice. And of course, we're joined with Pat O'Rourke. Pat's here every week. He's family in the arena, for God's sakes. Let's be honest.
I guess so.
Yes. And so, in addition to, that's excellent. We're going live. So in addition to Jack, we have joining us from Jacksonville, Florida, David Heaton. David.
Yes, sir.
Veterans Healthcare Supplies Solutions. How are you tonight, sir?
We're doing good. Veterans Healthcare Supply Solutions is a service-disabled, veteran-owned small business based here in Jacksonville. We've been in business since about 2010, and we supply products and connect manufacturers to federal customers throughout the U.S. And we're in the process right now of making those connections possible for our veterans and warfighters and those with the appropriate clinical diagnoses for the LifeVac products. We're very excited about it.
That's awesome. And you do so much more. I want to back up a second, being that you're from Jacksonville. We saw each other in spirit, right? So Pat and I were involved in a show, and David, you were in attendance as part of the LifeVac contingent at Brian Kilmeade's History, Liberty, and Laughs tour. Can you describe the emotion that you felt in the Florida theater?
First of all, it's a great historic venue, right? I mean, it's been in place for well over 100 years now, or I think it's in the high 90s, whatever it is. But went through, yeah, you know it better. And I've been here for north of 50 years. We'll leave it at that. But yeah, I went through a renovation, and that was the second time I'd been back. And first of all, what a great venue. Second, the energy there, and clearly the camaraderie between all of you folks that have known each other for such a long time and been a part of each other's lives really came through. But just hearing the stories from the folks that you had invited from over in the Panhandle, and those that had really been through a true LifeVac experience, and the evangelistic beliefs and stories were just crazy cool. And then obviously the chemistry between y'all and the backstories that were shared. Some of the acting on stage probably could have been improved a little bit, but it was certainly appreciated by all.
Yeah, David, if you could for a second, we're going to put you on the spot.
Sure.
Pat O'Rourke and I, we portray several, half a dozen.
We're masters of theater.
Yes, and there's a lot of costume changes, and there's a lot of range that is shown. Could you decide between the two of us, and no pressure, let's go with improvement needed?
I don't know that there was room for improvement.
Wow.
You didn't think Thomas Jefferson was that bloated, though, did you?
All the characters looked the same. The wig changed a little bit, but all the characters were the same, and frankly, they had the same voices. So I don't know that there was room for improvement.
Yes, that ugly Long Island accent, unbelievably.
Yeah, it's hard to shake. It's hard to shake. Who knew? all those guys spoke so not eloquently. But again, as you said earlier, there was a LifeVac almost contingent, a whole section of the audience, and you guys had an opportunity, and I'm sorry that I missed out on, but we're making up for it tonight, right?
That's right. Yeah. Well, I had an opportunity to speak with Art and with some of the principals previously when we were initiating our relationship, and just the stories. It's such a unique company, and we deal with about 100 on any given day, probably 100 different manufacturers, and they range from, the maybe 7 of the top 10 medical device manufacturers in the world down to startups, right? We met with a company today that's pre-market, right? They don't even have their FDA approval, and they're already gearing up to figure out how they can bring their technology to our veterans and to our warfighters. And in very few organizations have the spirit that not only within the team that's there, but like I said, it's almost evangelistic of the folks that once they've had that experience and interacted with somebody. I got to speak with a couple folks. I mean, I spoke with a guy who told me he was choking at home so bad that he ran into the corner of the breakfast bar in his house because he was home alone and he was choking, and he broke his sternum in the process, but that was the only way he could expel, and had he had the LifeVac there, and that's why he became such a critical proponent for it. I mean, some of the stories were just crazy, and then to hear the saves that actually occurred, and I think what was probably a story, Rick, that and you may not have heard, was at we in between the kind of initial meeting and then was we went over and had some drinks and some appetizers, and then we were on our way back, but we wanted to take a big picture of everybody that was there, the contingent, so to speak, from LifeVac. And your president was going to take the picture, and I said, me being the sales guy, I said, no, somebody here will take the picture. You need to get in the picture, right? You're important. So I asked this random guy and said, hey, would you mind taking a picture? He said, sure. And so he steps up, and he fortunately had a personality, and he said, well, why are you guys here? And I said, well, it's this company called LifeVac, and it's a great product, and it's an airway clearance device. He said, wait a minute, is that the plunger thing? And I said, sure. He said, I'm having my first child in 5 days. I was at a baby shower for one of my buddies 2 weeks ago. I ordered one of those today.
Wow.
And he was a retired Navy pilot that was a private commercial. And he said, when I saw that at the baby shower, I knew I had to have one. I bought one. Well, of course, at that point, we had to introduce him to Art. So Art, and I don't know how he did this. It was like a magician. In a matter of seconds, out pops another home kit, right? Here, you need one in the car if you're going to have a baby. But just that connection immediately of some random guy, literally in a bar and grill on a random night, had said, I bought one today. I mean, just hearing stories. It's we always used to joke in when I was on the manufacturing side, you need a spark will build a campfire, the campfire will start burning, you get the forest fire, and it's unbelievable what you guys have done with the brand, and again, we're super excited to get this in the hands of our warfighters and certainly every veteran in a wheelchair, and any of those with whether it's dysphagia on the ENT side or the neurology side, whatever. We're excited to connect that channel and believe there should be one in everybody's homes.
Yeah. Now, between the Red Cross changing its guidelines and maybe a more, I don't know if a more favored Secretary of Veterans Affairs, between the two, I mean, it seems to be like the perfect storm coming up. You talk about the ADA, but in terms of our veterans, can you talk about the impact that new Secretary Doug Collins will make?
Well, he's certainly a very clear-spoken advocate. Obviously, I haven't engaged with him, so everything is based on my observations of what's been written and some of the things that are in industry type webinars and things that we participate in. But there is a definite commitment to the clinical outcomes for our veterans. What I have read is he's a big proponent of the community care program, meaning that if the VA doesn't have a service or have a clinical support mechanism for the veterans, that they should be able to seek that in the community. Most people don't realize that the Veterans Affairs hospitals and clinics, there's probably ballpark about 200 traditional hospitals. Then there's probably another couple hundred clinics, and then there's probably it used to be 500, but that I'm sure I'm misquoting the number. It's probably many more now, which are community-based outpatient centers within the VA network. It's the largest integrated health system in the U.S. But what's unique about it is that they don't have a traditional health plan that would exist in the commercial world or even in the military, right? The military has TRICARE and allows for that. So when you are a committed veteran in that VA channel, and let's say you're retired or maybe you're service disabled, and that's your primary outlet, they give you every bit of care that you would ever possibly want. And there's no reimbursements, there's no copays, but that's the channel that you have to work within. And so most people don't realize there's no reimbursement there, right? And so the care that's delivered is inside those boundary condition walls within the VA. A few years back, they created a community care program to allow those veterans to say, hey, you know what you need to best treat you isn't available within these four walls. So we're going to send you to Mayo Clinic across the street to get that care. And we'll pay Mayo Clinic whatever it costs to take care of that veteran. And that's unique. And it's something that, our business was started by a service disabled veteran. We went through a succession program a couple of years ago. It's currently owned, and it's a requirement. Over half the business has to be owned by a service disabled veteran.
Can you mention who that is, David?
Our CEO today currently is a gentleman by the name of Ryan Hurt. Ryan is he is a service disabled veteran that served in the Air Force, flew combat missions over Iraq, Afghanistan. I'm sorry?
Like Doug Collins, Air Force.
Yeah. Ryan would love to sit down with Doug at some point and have some discussions. But he came from Medtronic on their Medtronic and NuVasive in their spinal group. Our business is unique too, because I spent many years in the manufacturing side on sales leadership, and those various roles. Our chief operating officer is a Naval Academy graduate, as well as our founder. He served on submarines, a gentleman by the name of Barney Carter. He was 20 years with Medtronic. We're all very committed. I'm the only male in my family that didn't serve due to a skull fracture as a kid. They don't like that. So, but this was something that was really important to me, and I made the transition after 20 years with a manufacturer to join this team after being a customer for about 4 years.
Wow. So 2010. And there's the website, unceremoniously. There's the website and the phone number for Veterans Healthcare Supply Solutions. I thought it to be, or learned that it was a very easy website to navigate. And these are for veterans who are, looking for care. And you mentioned before about the veterans that might be outside of the clinic setting. A lot of them are at home. And your company does a great job of reaching those folks with mailers and healthcare, I guess, through the mail. Yeah.
So I guess the best way to describe it is, so if a veteran today goes to, and yet, Jack, there was your logo. So, and I'd love to expand on that in a second. But right now, if a veteran goes to an endocrinologist and is diagnosed with diabetes, and they need an insulin pump, let's say, or something that's maybe more brand name specific, would be like, let's say they needed an Abbott Freestyle Libre glucose monitor, right? Their initial setup for those monitors is going to be, the endocrinologist tells the pharmacy prescribes a prescription down to what's called the prosthetics department, and then the prosthetics department sources those products. They source those from us because we're the supplier for the federal government, and then we send that box directly to the veteran's home. And then when those reorders come downstream in other products and various products, if they need the sets for their insulin pump or whatever it may be, those would come out of a consolidated mail order pharmacy that the VA or a private distributor runs. We would backstock that private distributor. So there's an end to end there. But there's of those packages, whether it's the BD PureWick system that's out there or Freestyle Libre, many of these things that you've seen on TV, which was again how we initially approached LifeVac. As I saw art on a commercial and went, wow, this, and looked it up and did some research. But we engage us, so probably 150 to 200 of those packages a day go directly to veterans' homes, and we have the ability to market directly in that packaging and make them aware of other things that are available, things like the KardioMobile EKG device and some other things that we have in our warehouse, in addition to all the equipment that we sell to the VA.
Yeah, I know this gets very technical for the viewers, but to understand the process for a non-prescription item, do we still need a prescription? Does the veteran need a prescription, or could they learn about LifeVac and say, hey, I have a greater chance of dysphagia or problems for any neurological condition, and I can get it directly from your company?
So we wouldn't transact directly with the patient. And the reason for that is the veteran will, the VA will provide for those patients. And that's, again, the beauty of our VA system is that if there's a need there, that need will be met. So all a veteran would need to do is contact their physician and say, hey, you know what, I have this condition that I believe needs this. They would go in and do a consult, and then the physician would write the virtual script and make the request, and then we would get the order, and then we would ship it directly to the veteran's home.
So is it a different prescription than, say, a medication, or is it a similar process?
It's very similar. There just needs to be a condition state, and then the physician would write the prescription that would go down to the prosthetics department, and it would be fulfilled. Yeah.
Fascinating stuff. From my perspective, because you were with a manufacturer, I spent 30 years on the pharmaceutical side of, and not necessarily with the government, but all payers are different. And now, do you have any interaction with the caregiver, the physicians?
On occasion, we'll have those discussions. We have a brand ambassador in the Southeast United States that's going to have those connections. But if we're selling a piece of equipment, let's say for urological, for let's say BPH treatment, right? A lot of times we'll get involved with the physicians to understand the process in which they would need, and what they're trying to accomplish. And then we would kind of coach them through what the process would look like.
Yeah. David, I'm being new to this, calling on the VA for LifeVac. You're going to have to help me with getting past security.
It's it's not the easiest process, and it's even harder on the military bases. Yep,
absolutely. So you saw the Tunnel for Towers from your website. You wanted to mention something to Jack.
Yeah. So one of the things that's really important to us is also giving back to veterans in our community, and we really focus here in the Jacksonville space, and look at programs and benefits and events and those type of things here locally in the community. Obviously, we do the Toys for Tots things with the Marines, but we also give our employees the ability to make any contributions they want. And we match them 100%. And so our founder has been involved with Tunnels for Towers for many, many years, and we actually have quite a few employees that make that same contribution. So I get all kinds of stuff on my desk every day from Tunnels for Towers saying thank you very much. But it's a really important thing that we do here locally, and it's also something that we want to support our team as well.
Do you ever come up to Manhattan for the run?
I have never been. I understand that it is it's a pretty inspirational thing, that it's a little bit beyond just a run.
Absolutely. And I consider this a formal invitation, right, Pat? You're going to do it.
Correct. Absolutely.
It's a
Appreciate it.
great day, and we thank you for everything you're doing. Now, how can we help your company? Do we need traffic driven awareness? What's the as you look at 2025 and your company is the company established in 2010 or before that?
Company was established in 2010. Grew, just continued to grow because the federal government's required to spend a certain amount of business, so a certain amount of dollars. It's about 3% of the entire spend must go through a service-disabled veteran-owned small business. So there's certain contracts that are more favorable to do, to push through a company like ours. But we started in 2010. We've grown. Well, we did well north of $100 million last year in revenue. Really excited and really proud of what we do. As far as help, the challenge is going to be just creating awareness and making those veterans be aware that when they see the same commercial, right? Or maybe they were going through the web and they ran across the Inside Edition piece or some of the other collateral that's out there that's really inspiring. Right now, their reaction is to go to Amazon or go to one of the e-commerce platforms, like directly from your site, wherever that may be.
Right.
Just creating the awareness to the veteran that they just need to raise their hand and say, I want it. We have it in our warehouse. As a matter of fact, in our quarterly update this quarter, we went out to the warehouse, grabbed home kits for our entire team and distributed them and gave them out to everybody to make sure that we were covered not only there in the office, but when they were at their homes. Subsequent to that, I was at our country club the other day after my wife was going through her praises of the product and the experience that she had after our last event. And we now have LifeVac sitting above every AED in our community as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's a great story.
Yeah, it really is. And those stories happen more and more now. Arthur, if he was here, could talk about the dark times from 2012 to really through 2016 when the first life was saved. And in that entire year, people that are here hearing this for the 30th time, but 4 lives in 2016 were saved, where the other day there were 13. So it's just amazing, and we're heading dangerously close to 4,000
Yes, we are.
ceremoniously.
We will not choke on it. That's our motto.
Yes, new motto comes up every week. We won't choke on it.
The under over.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you so much joining us, David.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, before you go, can you please help me understand, when I see David Heaton II, how does that differ from Junior?
You asked me that when
I've asked
the first time, and I never answered you.
That's all right.
So I'm the 6th child in the family. My oldest brother is, I can't make this up, is Larry Heaton II. My dad did not like and he was named after my father, did not like the term Junior. So he said the 2nd. Well, after 5 of us, and they got to me, they'd run out of names. And so I'm named after my uncle, which was David John Heaton. And that is the technical and proper use of the 2nd, is if you're named after a family member that is not the father.
Usually reserved for kings and royalty, I think, right?
And Sammy Davis Jr.
Yeah, and so I'm not. There's no way I could be a junior. My brother arguably could be, but I'm not.
Yeah. Well, you're lucky you weren't born into the Foreman family, right? Didn't George Foreman have?
Well, 4 boys, all named George. Yes.
Yeah, 4 boys named George.
So I have a son who I named after my brother. So he's Kevin O'Rourke II, I guess.
I'm learning something new every day.
Because he's named after his uncle.
And when we lived in Texas, I had Mr. Foreman lived around the corner from us, so I got to. My sons actually went to school with one of them.
Yeah, he grew up in Houston. Yep. Big George.
Yep. Well, David Heaton, we appreciate you joining us, and I hope this won't be the last time we'll be in touch.
Thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate
well done, sir. Wow. Again, going back to Jacksonville, we were kind of busy, but the LifeVac had such a large party. I think it was close to 50 people, including the Warners.
I think it was over 50. But
yeah, it's probably over 50, but opportunity missed by myself, who I was concentrating on the VA to, did you get a chance to meet David? No, I was busy changing costumes and putting on different wigs. At least you there. It's embarrassing, wasn't it? Yeah. So anyway, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back for more of The Man in the Arena with Jack Nelson from Tunnel for Towers.
She started to choke on a piece of candy.
She wasn't breathing.
Then Ray reached for the LifeVac, and it saved her.
She could have easily died that day. A LifeVac saved her life. What I would say is don't need a LifeVac and not have it. Have a LifeVac and hopefully never need it.
Recently, the American Red Cross has added anti-choking devices as an option when standard protocol fails or is not feasible.
Go to lifevac.net or call 877-543-3822.
He's like, he butts in and tells us what we're doing wrong. So,
Welcome back to The Man in the Arena. And look, you can see above my head. For God's sakes, go to lifevac.net. David Heaton talked about the danger of Amazon, and you can get one, but better safe than sorry. Go to lifevac.net. Use code MITA for 15% off. Look at that. It's scrolling, and there's the coupon. 15% off. Code MITA. It's pretty easy, right?
It's extremely easy.
It's almost as easy as T2T.org.
That's right.
What a smooth transition that was.
It was extremely smooth.
From MITA to T2T.org. We're joined by Jack Nelson, fellow Long Islander,
Yes, sir.
Tunnel for Towers. Gosh, we go back now a couple of years.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
No, yeah. And we I can't tell you how much we appreciate all of the support. It's what we do is and the populations that we serve, which I'm happy to talk more about. It's so important for the homes that we build and for the veterans communities that we construct to have a LifeVac inside, as many of them as we can, because so many of the injured first responders and the injured veterans and older populations, they're at risk. And
Right.
so we want, part of what we do is to make sure that every single person that Tunnel to Towers helps has experienced some kind of tragedy in their life.
Absolutely.
So the last thing that we need is for them to ever have to worry about something else bad happening.
Right.
So,
Right. And we've been involved, I know, from the the community in Florida
that's right.
and some homes, but on behalf of Arthur Lee, I want to pledge to be, because we're a very small company, and sometimes things fall by the wayside. But Arthur, before he left on this last trip, said, you make sure that there isn't a smart home or a home for veterans or injured first responders that doesn't have a LifeVac. So we're going to do some I guess, reconnaissance and backtrack and make sure that there's a LifeVac in every one of those
I'm happy to
homes.
accept that, sir. Thank
you
you
need
very
your
much.
email list.
Absolutely.
Well,
Well,
we're going to get it done.
The program, I mean, everything started, extremely, small as family foundations do. But now, last year we paid off the mortgages for 200 families,
Wow.
fallen first responder families, Gold Star families, and our injured veterans, and built 40 smart homes. 13, I think, years ago, we built one, and now we're up to, 40 a year, each of which costs $1 million to build.
Wow.
They're beautiful. They're extremely complex. The technology inside is amazing to give someone their life back. And so yeah, I have a list.
Yeah. We'll get working on that list as soon as
Absolutely.
we're done. Maybe even tomorrow morning.
Without a doubt.
Back up a little bit, Mr. Nelson, and tell us how you got involved with Tunnel for Towers.
Yeah, sure. So I've worked at T2T for about a year and a half now. I'd always been a supporter. The foundation started 2002 in the wake of 9/11, of course. I'm sure a lot of people know the story. I'm happy to tell it again. 'Cause it's so
Absolutely.
inspiring. So Stephen Stiller was an FDNY firefighter, and he worked for the Squad 1 out in Red Hook, Brooklyn, which is one of the FDNY's most elite units. And the morning of 9/11, he was actually just getting off his shift. And he was supposed to go play golf with his brothers, and he heard over his scanner what had happened. Drove right back to his squad. They were already on the scene operating. Grabbed his gear, hauled to the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, which was closed, and so he did what any hero would do: grabbed his gear, ran through the tunnel to the World Trade Center site, and where he was a hero, and he ultimately lost his life that day. So hence the name of our foundation, Tunnel to Towers, following Stephen's run. So now, as you alluded to before, every last Sunday in September every year, 40,000 people run through that tunnel. to where the Twin Towers once stood in his memory. But it just goes to show the power of a story. Almost now coming up on 25 years later, the 25th anniversary of 9/11. To go from I think it was 1,500 people in the first year in that run, and now it's 40,000. So what we do, based on that story, is we build smart homes for catastrophically injured veterans and first responders. We pay off mortgages for the families of fallen first responder families, and we same thing for our Gold Star families. And then 3 years ago, because I know we're here to talk about veterans specifically tonight, we started on a new mission to eradicate, really is the word that we try to use because it feels more appropriate, veteran homelessness. Wow. There are 40,000 homeless vets on our streets, which actually that statistic is probably a little bit skewed. We think it's higher because it doesn't necessarily include people that are at risk of becoming homeless, people that are couch surfing, or people that don't have a home that is their own. I mean, and as a vet, as someone who has put on a uniform in service of our country and potentially run toward danger, I mean, it's the least that we owe them is a place to call their own and a home of their own. So we now 4 years into that mission, we're in the process of constructing, I believe, our 12th veteran village around the country. These are some of them are old hotels, which we go in, we gut down to the studs, and we build brand new efficiency apartments, comprehensive social services, comfort homes on the property. But also we have a nationwide case management network that anyone watching can report a homeless veteran. There's actually a button on our website, and you can just give us basic information, and that activates a case manager, a social worker, who's going to then reach out to them and try to figure out, okay, so how do we get a roof over your head? First thing. Now, in a completely non-judgmental way, we don't care why you're homeless, nor should anyone. We need to solve the problem. And then also all the other various different kinds of therapies and assistance, and connecting them with the resources to which they are absolutely entitled at the VA, to get them back on their feet, to if they're able to work, to get them a job, and to really rebuild them. And over the course of the 3 years of this program, we've supported 10,000 vets. So
almost 25% of the problem that you identify.
That's right. We still have a long way to go, but
amazing.
It's working, and that's the thing. Is that and as you mentioned, it's we do a lot with little. We have some very generous donors, but the vast majority of our donors give $11 a month, and so it really does make a difference.
And we just hear from many companies match, which quickly doubles the $11 to $22. But
that's right.
I take that with great pride to send $11 every month. The auto, set up auto, get a lot of good communications, and it just makes you feel better. And it
I
seems
didn't know
so
that.
easy.
I should check with my company. I didn't know they could match.
Yeah, there's a lot of companies will match.
And I didn't even know. My wife was making fun of me. She goes, I give 11. I go, so do I. We didn't even know we both give it every month. So those commercials get you. Come on, have you ever seen them?
Goodness.
You're like, I want to give more.
When you think of the level of star, or the importance of people that have done commercials or promotions for Tunnel for Towers, it's very inspiring.
It is. No, and we're extremely lucky in in the entire Wahlberg family, actually, all of them, and David Wells, Andy Pettit, David Portnoy.
Sellers. We've actually been lucky enough to meet him a couple times. What a great guy.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's like I said, I think honestly that it really is just, it's the power of a story, and then explaining to people that this is what we're going to do. We have a very simple value proposition. We're going to, if you are a first responder, if you're a veteran and something bad happened to you, we're going to fix it, and we're going to support you. So, and that's it.
Wow, really amazing. And we don't need to direct, or maybe we should talk about t2t.org, the website where people can not only sign up for the 11 but get involved. I back up and I kick myself, because for a longest time I thought, hey, that 5K run, yeah, I'm involved. I do the run, but it's so much more. The golf events, they go nationwide.
That's right. Yeah,
right.
We do two things. I mean, so that initial run, I mean, has now kind of grown into hundreds of events all
Nationwide,
over the country. Yeah, that's right. In most major cities. And those are events that that both we run, as the foundation, but then also, groups will come to us all the time and they'll say, hey, we want to do something. And we maybe a county park, we want to do a T2T run. Absolutely. That sounds amazing.
Wow.
Let's support it. We'll get you our logo. If you're going to print t-shirts or something like that, we are on board and we thank you so much for your support. So there are, I think last year there was about 3,000 of those.
3,000 different runs under the T2T.
Not even runs, just all
Any
manner
event.
of different things. I mean,
Just
runs.
events, any kind of event,
People come up with them, just amazing ideas,
Right.
which is inspiring. But like every bit absolutely makes a difference. It's unfortunate, all the time I hear the phrase, I wish I could do more, and I stop people right there. I'm like, that's not true. Every single, dime that you donate certainly to Tunnel to Charities, but to charity in general, it really does make a difference. And it's rewarding to see it.
I'm amazed that I don't get more because other charities aren't as nice about it, including my college that I went to. They never stop asking. But, I give 11 for, I don't know, 5 years. And I always expect to see an email saying, hey, could you, and I don't see it.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I mean, we try not to bug people, I guess, as because we feel that, I mean, and don't get me wrong, that's my job. My job is to say to people, this is what we're trying to do. Can you go on this journey with us?
Right.
So, I talked about veteran villages. We're building one in Island Park. So that is dominating, my life in the best possible way. Is connecting, so far, just to give you a sense.
Island Park, and I forgive my geographical ignorance, but that's
Nassau
on Long
County.
Island.
That's right.
Yeah, Long Beach.
Look at that.
That's right.
East Rockaway?
Just south of Oceanside.
He wasn't a big drinker. I was. I know where Island Park is.
Yeah. No.
Speaks.
Island Park is an amazing community.
Speaks. Twisted Sister.
In 1978, though,
It's an old band. We're dating ourselves.
Amazing community. We're going to build a 45-unit veterans village, social services on the ground floor, everything that the veterans will need. The Nassau County very generously donated the former Long Beach motel to the foundation, so we're going to be knocking that down and building in its place. But so we had a press conference with every politician in Nassau County. It was amazing. And the day after, we got a message from the owners of a marble and granite a wholesaler in Seaford, and they said, we want to do your countertops. We'll donate. We have this this great deal. We'll figure something out. We don't have the details for you, the specifics yet. Let's do it. Let's figure it out. And so all of those that happens every single time we build something we just start getting calls from people wanting to hop on.
Even your commercials where even you explain, we're doing this, we're doing that. I don't want to make fun of any of the other organizations, but some of them you're like, I don't know if I want to give to them. I don't know what they're doing. You guys explain it perfectly. This is what we're doing. We're building these communities, And
you see the examples on those commercials. In addition to Mark Wahlberg and Dennis Quaid, you see families that have been impacted. I mean, it strikes me, there's a widow in Buffalo, I think, when you see the families that have been, not made whole, but pretty close to it.
Sure. No, absolutely. And we saw we saw Mrs. Diller on the State of the we're not officially calling it the State of the Union, I don't think.
No, it's something the
joint session of
exactly.
Congress.
Yeah,
oh, what an embarrassment.
State of the Union
by the way.
year.
If I digress for a moment, what an embarrassment by I don't know if he's a congressman. He needs to be censured. Green.
Al Green.
Yeah.
I like his music, but bad congressman.
Yeah. In addition to a shave and a haircut.
And one guy went home and died. The guy there was a congressman from Texas.
What, he sat on his
Sylvester.
paddle?
No, he might have beat himself to death with his paddle. I don't know. That's a true story, though. He went home to his hotel room and died that night.
All due respect, rest in peace.
And there was a song playing called "It's My Party and I'll Die If I Want to."
But
there's no crowd. Okay.
So talk to us more about Island Park and the timeline. Is it
absolutely
under construction?
Sure. Just one thing that I was the reason I brought up Mrs. Diller was, I've heard her speak at other events and things. And so the families that, have endured these tragedies, they're the most amazing people. I mean, so that's why those, you know, those commercials, you know, you feel it right here, is because they these are real people. I mean, that have, you know, gone through something that, you know, God willing, none of us will ever have to experience, and their strength is it's inspiring.
Before I left Park, though, so you said you're there for a year and a half. How'd you get involved in what you were a veteran, right?
No, I was a volunteer fireman for about, you know, 2 years, but not I've you know, I wish I'd had, you know, more significant service in my background. But no,
we surround ourselves with heroes. But
hey, that's enough.
Yeah, that's no,
just like you said.
Enough. But
what town?
Garden City, but like I said, very brief. But no, the Island Park thing. I mean, that was honestly all Nassau County. They were the drivers behind that. You know, that was at that point we opened our first veterans village in Houston 3 years ago, and we had already announced, I think, maybe 8 or 9 additional projects that were underway, which were not pie in the sky ideas. I mean, these are places that, you know, we either had already, you know, signed a not a lease, you know, we own and operate these properties, but you know, or they had already been donated by either individuals or by local governments and things. So I think Nassau County came in and said, okay, this is legitimate. These guys, they know what they're doing. And they said, we've got an idea for you. You know, we don't have, thank God, we don't have an enormous homeless veteran population on Long Island, but we do have one. And that number should be zero. So it's, so it will be.
Nice. Wow. Just like accidental choking.
That's right. That's
Should be zero.
Exactly.
Should be zero.
Exactly right.
So where are we in the groundbreaking, near completion?
Oh, you'll hear about it. Trust me. We're
going to have a LifeVac in every apartment.
Well, of course. Yes. But we also, when we do groundbreakings, we go big, and the reason being is that we really want to celebrate, you know, the positive impact that these, you know, communities will have on the community. I mentioned, you know, the VA briefly. The first floor of a veterans village is designed to be a comprehensive
healthcare
center for everything that a veteran might need, including the VA. And that's not just for the people that live there. I mean, we bring in, you know, for example, people with PTSD. Canine therapy is extremely helpful. So the community in Houston will bring in all kinds of different therapies and speakers and life coaches. I mean, you know, if you've been homeless for, let's say, 10 years, you know, you'll go on a government website and it'll say, you know, just, you know, scan this QR code. And like, what is it? What are you talking about? What is a QR code? I don't
Sounds like me 6 months ago.
I haven't been homeless 10 years. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, exactly. So it's, you know, just, you know, all those kinds of things, just learning, you know, now how to be phone literate and open a bank account and things that you may have forgotten as the world has kind of passed you by. All that stuff those are services that we provide. So to answer your actual question, we anticipate groundbreaking hopefully this late summer to fall. And then these are usually a 10-month build ish. So no, this will happen hopefully to coincide with the 25th anniversary of 9/11, which is also the 250th anniversary of the United States.
How many stories is it going to be?
The TBD. I think we're in talks with Town and Hempstead to figure that out. But because it's you know, these are, you know, this is not, like I said, it's not an enormous building, but it's brand new construction, and we're going to remediate what's there and get rid of it because it is old and ugly.
Beautiful. And you say contractors, I can only imagine, between the granite, the countertops, the plumbing, everything, groundbreaking, because Lord knows I can't handle a shovel, but I'd love to be there and help any way I can. Right,
absolutely. Pat? No, and we'd love to have you. No, you'll trust me. Like I said, I will absolutely let you know. It's when I've gone to other groundbreakings, and you know, when people hear, you know, veteran village, you know, they probably have an idea in their head that, you know, okay, so this used to be a hotel. It's going to look kind of like a hotel, and maybe they've knocked down a wall or two. Absolutely not. It's, you know, think, you know, tile mosaic, and you know, like I said, you know, a beautiful, you know, commercial grade, you know, appliances and kitchens and dining rooms. Wow. You know, it's nicer than any, you know, highway, you know, hotel, and I won't name names of hotel brands because I'll get blacklisted. But you know, it's
keep the light on.
Like the Mount, exactly. Mount Airy Lodge.
But no, they're absolutely beautiful, and you can you know, take a virtual tour on our website. And I would encourage it. My favorite room in the Houston Veteran Village is, we need to come up with a better name for this. But it's called the clothes room. If you and it's a room of clothes.
Clothes,
with the TH. Yeah, I'm sorry. My Long Island accent comes out.
I was just trying to.
But it's you know, if you are, formerly homeless, and you're rebuilding your life, and you have you're not, let's say you are originally from I don't know, the West Coast. You're used to warmer climates. You don't have a winter coat. Here's a winter coat. It's brand new.
Wow.
Or it's donated. Or you have a job interview. Here's a suit.
The haberdashery.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
that's what he calls me. But it reminds me of Danielle
He is quite the haberdashery.
Leiblin, the nursing home warrior, who's doing similar things with the non-veteran community, but just nursing homes, bringing in, gently worn clothing to these folks who are just sitting in their pajamas or not even their pajamas for a long time. So this is, amazing work that you guys are doing, continue to do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Likewise.
Yeah.
Is there I'm serious. I drop my clothes at the church. With my family. Is there somewhere where we could drop we know that it's going to your foundation?
Great question.
That is a great question. So we actually get requests to volunteer all the time, and it's on our top of the to-do list for this year is to really make our website more responsive into allowing for someone to come in and say, I would like to do the thing. We do, I think, a great job of that. In Houston at that Veterans Village, the first one we opened, where my colleague Kim, she manages community fairs. So someone has an idea, someone has maybe they do music therapy or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They want to come in. And there's a phenomenal organization called Guitars for Vets, that does, virtual guitar lessons and things. So those kinds of things, that person in that role who is a full-time employee of Tunnel to Towers, that's what they coordinate, is all the kinds of things that are going to make, a building ultimately really be a community and to embrace kind of the shared experience of all the veterans that live there.
So my father-in-law was a Vietnam veteran, and he was a state commander of the AMVETS for like 5 years. And he volunteers up at the one in Northport.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
The one I got kicked out of.
Did you?
Well, I didn't get past the gate.
Oh.
I was trying to go in there and talk to him about LifeVac.
They didn't let you in? Are you serious?
No.
You got to set that up. But,
Yeah.
but he has there's like there are AMVETS where you can drop clothes and but they sell them, but they profits go to AMVETS.
Sure.
But I just want to give them to
Absolutely
directly to Tunnel Towers if we can. Yeah.
And people do. I mean, there was an article in Newsday on Sunday actually about this group in Roslyn, just a group of I think 15 or so ladies that they knit once a week, and they knitted us 40 blankets, and
Wow.
so we sent them down to Florida, and from there they'll be distributed all over the country.
Yeah,
So
Northern Florida, probably, right?
yeah,
Where
exactly.
everybody's like had coats on. We were just down in Jacksonville, of course, and could not believe I'm walking around in a t-shirt and
It's muggy and hot.
sweaters.
Yeah, when
They
it
all
drops,
thought it was
when it
cold.
drops below 80 degrees, everyone has
there-
to put on a winter jacket.
Jack, are there specific locations for Tunnel for Towers on Long Island? Offices?
No, so that's a great question. Actually, all of us work for the most part out of Staten Island. So the Siller family is from Staten Island. That's where they started the foundation, and it has just grown and grown and grown over the years. Now if you look at who's joining the foundation now, you'll see it's social workers and case managers and all the frontline staff that are really making a difference for for that massive undertaking of ending veteran homelessness. So
Yeah. How much has the size of the organization grown since 2002 till today?
Until maybe 15 or so years ago, or maybe it's even 12 years ago, it was basically the Siller family and a bunch of volunteers. So math is not my strongest suit, but 100%.
Yeah.
Sounds
Sounds like the rate of saves that came from 2016 on, it just got exponential, like
but we
too much, doubled and tripling.
which is amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember the first time I met you guys, we were sitting in your conference room, and Arthur was, his phone was beeping, and he explained, these are saves that are coming through in real
Yeah.
time, and it blew my mind. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we're still small but mighty. I mean, if you look at other charities that do fundraising, our frontline fundraising staff is maybe 15 people. So,
Wow. Amazing.
So we do much with little.
Yeah. Well, we continue to sing your praises, and
Thank you.
There's definitely a synergy between LifeVac and Tunnel for Towers, and we'll continue to work together.
Thank you.
All right.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned we mentioned saves in South Florida. What better time than now? Have you met Mr. 3000?
I have not.
Wow.
I have not.
Ray Priebe from Cape Coral, Florida, joins
Raymond.
us every week to give us the update, and I'll tell you why after we joined.
She started to choke on a piece of candy.
First. Oh, we're not going to see the commercial. We got it, Ray. What they call that a tease.
Yeah.
We saw you and your daughter,
Technical
but
difficulty.
Ray, welcome. Save. Wow.
Men and women in the arena. Good evening, guys. How y'all doing tonight?
Great, Ray.
Excellent, excellent. Listen, big shout out to tonight's show. What an amazing show tonight. Hats off to the guys on the show, to the foundation. It's just amazing stuff tonight, guys. Speaking of amazing stuff, taking care of our military vets. As you know, Rick, I have a little thing I'm putting together for I call him my brother, but he's my best friend. He is a pastor in the U.S. Army serving, excuse me, in Kuwait as we speak. So, Rick, I sent that information over to you guys. I know Arthur has already made a donation. Thank you guys very
Yes.
much.
Now, Bobby, do you have the link? I know that we got our Dropbox a little bit late, but I assume you sent a link over that was added. Tell us about that website while Bobby looks for it.
So it's just on Amazon. It's real simple, real basic. I created basically a wish list that anybody can go on, select items that I have placed in this. They pay for it, and it's shipped directly to his base in Kuwait. So I tried to make it as easy, as convenient as possible.
And you know, as we scroll through, I see the scrolling going through the on the sidebar. I don't know if that's going out to you, but we will. Hey, Austin Priebe, everybody. I will get that link into the comments section attached to our post for. And I don't even know how I'm doing this. I have help from the young people at LifeVac.
Well,
Shout out
trust
to
me,
Katie.
you should have seen how long it took me to set up that registry for those presents.
Yeah. So is there a website? You go to Amazon and you look for what?
Yep, I'll just put the link right in your bio. That way it'll take you right to the registry of the items that they sent me that they're needing. And it's all right there on the registry. You can pick them out, pay for it, and it's shipped directly to Kuwait.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, not only will we talk about it tonight, and I will put that link in the comments, but absolutely next Thursday, we're going to have a grand revisit to this
That
website.
would be amazing. That would be
Absolutely.
perfect.
Anything we can do.
But on to our bigger business here. Bobby, run those numbers for me.
Ooh.
31 this week. Holy moly, I think.
Wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
Those numbers are off. So wait, there's more, folks.
All right.
To date,
Stop right there.
3,651 saves to date. 2,285 kids.
Now you got that. Go ahead.
Let's talk about this week and how ginormous this week was. Big week. 43 saves this week.
Wow. Amazing.
Huge this week. And let's talk about Tuesday. Tuesday alone, we had 13 saves. Record number on Tuesday. 13 saves alone. Well, I think that's better than 2012 through 2018, 2019.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just in Tuesday alone. So just
and I understand Ray Finland joined the ranks, right?
I'm sorry?
I think that's the day we got into our 30th country registering a save with Finland.
Absolutely. Oh,
Amazing.
and also today alone, we had 3 international saves. Spain, UK, and Lithuania all today.
Lithuania might be new. So it might be
I
31.
believe that's a new one for us.
You know what? We will have Donna texting all of us correcting us, and especially me, because if I get
I
something
have
wrong,
no doubt.
it's amazing.
I have no doubt.
UK certainly has been on there, but Lithuania, I don't know if that's a new country.
Let's do it as a bit at the end of the show. Things we got wrong. There'll be a lot of them.
I will add my normal piece. 137, excuse me, 137 days from my little girl being saved. 137 days, and we have 651 saves.
Wow.
Amazing numbers.
Really
amazing.
And is Maya in the building? Is she?
Maya isn't. Maya,
Uh-oh.
come here, baby.
Meet Princess Maya.
Come here. She's about ready to fall asleep, but we're going to go ahead and put her on here.
There she is, everybody. Tonight's a visual. Tonight's more visual than the regular podcast. So everyone,
there you go.
On Facebook and
Say
YouTube.
hi, everybody.
Maya.
All right. There you go, baby. All right, let's do the highlight of the week, shall we?
Highlight of the week.
Highlight of the week. Here we go. It was reported to us that a 1-year-old boy from Wisconsin choked on a piece of cat food, causing total blockage. He inhaled a piece of the cat food, stopped breathing, turned pale, while his lips began to turn blue. We administered back blows, but didn't clear it. I ran to my car, where I kept the LifeVac. As soon as I pulled the handle, he immediately started crying. We took him to the ER to get checked out, and he was doing great. This 100% saved his life. Thank you for saving my little boy's life. God bless you and thank you all for doing such a great job.
It's great stuff.
Wow. It's amazing.
Highlight of the week, folks.
So we break out the button for the first time. Hey, Ray, I don't know if you heard David Heaton earlier talking about very evangelical. I thought of you because a lot of the spirit around Jacksonville and around your visits and your family definitely takes that tone. So we're blessed every week.
Likewise, I am blessed to be part of this amazing venture with such great people who take care of everybody. It's a true blessing.
And how about that advice that you give us every week?
You know what? Here we go. My famous saying, LifeVac, have it and don't need it. Don't need it and not have it. The life you save could be your own. Thanks, guys. God bless.
Thank you.
Well done, sir. Good night, Austin. Love the Priebes. And Arthur always says
that's
it's prophetic or just another God wink.
Yeah, he was 3,000. His daughter was a 3,000.
How old is she?
2.
Yeah, she usually jumps on. She was doing something tonight.
Yeah,
that's terrifying.
That was the least amount of energy that I've seen Maya have. She's like shot out of a cannon all the time. And what's interesting, Jack, is that when he pulled over and in the original news clip, when he was being interviewed by the news, he actually said, today people don't usually help. So he pulls over. That's what that was his thought. But not only did he have LifeVac in the car, pulled over and was saving his daughter, but 2 other motorists had also pulled over and brought over LifeVac. So that's something that, definitely a God wink. Definitely the awareness is getting to where it needs to be.
So since 3,000, the average they're saving is saving over 4.5 people a day.
What's that?
Since this 3,000 saved.
Yeah.
We've had 651 since then, 137 days ago.
Wow.
That's like 4.6 people a day.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Now again, that was all of 2016.
Yep.
And correct me if I'm wrong, there's 365 days in 1 year.
Every fourth year.
Guys, between the math of us two Birch Lane grads, just amazing stuff. Who needs a calculator?
And I was great at math till 6th grade. Then it was all downhill.
Yeah.
Right after flashcards, I was no good.
Jack, have you ever been in the presence of such math mediocrity?
Geniuses? Do you feel like you're hanging around
I
Elon?
live in it every day.
Do you feel like you're talking to Elon Musk?
My wife is very good at math, and I sincerely hope that the kids get her genius.
Yes. So I was just alerted by Bobby that we do have the Tunnel for Towers promotional video, which we'd love to run about now.
My name is Esther Veve. I'm a registered nurse here in New York. Dalsh and I met when I was in junior high. We both went to the same high school and we also went to the same college. After college, he decided that he wanted to be a police officer because that was his lifelong dream. June 3rd, 2017, Dalsh put Dashi to bed. He left and went to work. Around 11 o'clock, someone came. He said that I needed to get ready and he would take me to the hospital. The doctor pulled me aside and explained that he had suffered a traumatic brain injury. I'm sorry.
Several years ago, Detective Dash Veve was responding to shots being fired, came upon the perpetrator, and while interrogating him in a stolen car, he got hit by the car and dragged 3 blocks under the car, where he's paralyzed and has traumatic brain injury.
After a number of years, it has prevented to be a problem to continue with outpatient therapy. So Tunnel to Tower was kind enough to convert our garage into a physical therapy room.
My name is Frank Silla, Chairman and CEO of the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. And today we're going to be honored to deliver a mortgage-free smart home to Detective Dash Veve.
We are home on the new addition that Tunnel to Tower has added for Dash that include a physical therapy room. Reflecting on this journey, all I ever wanted was really to keep my family together. Thank you to Tunnel to Towers and all of the donors.
Yeah, incredible story. I mean, we talk about each, some of the stories like Ray Priebe's, but when you see that, how do you not be inspired and just actually move?
Exactly. It's hard, and there's a lot to that story. It has a couple of different layers, and so Officer Veve was, as Esther said, he was injured in the line of duty in 2017, and as part of our annual mortgage payoffs that we do, we paid off their mortgage. And we kept in touch over the years, as we do. Our line of duty team is absolutely phenomenal about, we never ever just walk away from a family. We make sure that their needs are continuing to be met. When other things come up, we try to connect them as best we can. They're our family. They're part of our family. And when you are when you have significant physical needs, and you have lots and lots of appointments for therapies and for doctors and things like that, there's a lot of time spent getting in and out of a van. And so as it turned out, it was really starting to be a burden on them. And Mrs. Veve she's a nurse. So we kept in touch, and they said they just alerted us to the fact that this is something that we're facing. And so we said, well, then let's fix that. So we gutted their garage. We turned it into a physical therapy room where now all of his therapists, they come to him.
Wow.
So he doesn't have to worry about getting in and out of a van and the hours-long process of all those things. They come to him. Their bedroom was on the 2nd floor. We installed a chairlift. We made his 1st floor bathroom ADA accessible. So we basically made sure that he has everything and if something else is needed, we'll do that too.
Absolutely.
But we tried to make sure that he has everything he needs to live his life the best way that he possibly can, because it's certainly the least he deserves, and we're going to give him the best that we can. But so yeah, no, he's the Veve family. They're here on Long Island. It's a difficult story. It's tough to watch and it's tough to hear, but it shows you, what the power of good works really can do.
Inspiring story.
Great
right?
stuff. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Jack Nelson, Tunnel for Towers. Thank you for coming in.
My pleasure.
Thanks for continuing to share these great stories. If you, have a heart, go to tunnelfortowers.org and sign up for the 11. Get involved with the events. Now there's a new button where you can figure out other ways to volunteer.
That's right.
We're going to get that clothing bin up.
That's right.
You're on top of that, Lisa? And there's continues to be shouting and hollering from the studio next door. So we're going to get to the bottom of that. We're so glad you joined us for the Man in the Arena. Don't forget to like and share. Use code MITA. That's MITA, Mita, at lifevac.net to get 15% off your life facts for those that you love, those you want to protect. And we'll see you next week. I think Mike Rowe should sing us off.
And sing along if you know the words.
It's no joke when you choke, so get LifeVac and live. Without breath, there'll be death, so get LifeVac and live. Get LifeVac and live. Get LifeVac and live.
LifeVac and live.